And class. How do you want to?
Yes. Class. Where's the class?
Well, I want to learn. Don't stop me.
Hello, please, can you all hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, then please share in your group that everyone should join. We'll be starting now. So I don't want to take your time to just be like a brief introduction of concerning the second phase of the training. I hope most of you saw the new list. Some were complaining concerning the group list that was given. Please, if you have any issue with the group list, please let us know. You can still change your group. If you are not comfortable with the people that you have been grouped with, you can also let me know so that we can regroup you again. That's for the grouping. Then concerning the next phase of the training, we'll basically be working on the policy document. That will be our major coursework, and it will be explained today how we are going to go about it and everything. So just hold on. We'll start everything now. So any other information that I need to pass across, I'll pass it across and later on. Then also we're having games tomorrow by 5 p.m. Then please also take note of that. It's quite interesting, so that I won't just be learning without doing anything practical. So I think we'll just start now. So Martins will take over now. Martins, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Just let me know if my voice is audible.
I can hear you.
Yeah, you're audible.
Thank you very much. All right.
Please, can you all see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
I can too.
Hope you can still see it.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, this is perfect.
Okay. Martins, you can go ahead.
Absolutely. Josh, please do let me know if my voice is audible or not, because I might be communicating with you based on the slides. Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Uko Michael Martins Chibueze, the chairman for the Policy Document Review Committee for 2022. Today we'll be discussing the national policy documents. We've been looking at different examples of policy documents and how to draft them. Most especially using IFMSA own as a standard, but I think it's time for us to move into the national policy documents and the plans to actually add more to them this administration. Josh, next slide, please. Perfect. So basically, we'll be looking at this agenda for today. The introduction to policy documents, the structure of the NiMSA policy documents, added a little on utility of policy documents, and the 2025 agenda, training redistribution and drafting the policy documents, and we conclude. Josh, the next slide, please. All right. So basically, the NiMSA policy documents is the national policy documents concerning issues that NiMSA wants to address, influence, and advocate about. Every single organization or association have their own respective policy documents. Initially, we had been using IFMSA policy documents as a tool for but we actually have our own policy documents. It's not really a myth. We have our own policy documents within the association that actually addresses issues that concern the national association. There's one thing to have policy documents for the federation, and there's another to have policy documents for the association. We needed this policy documents because what we have in the federation doesn't really address every issue that we're facing in the national association, NiMSA as a whole. So in 2020, Olayinka Fakorede actually had the first draft of the policy document. It was made into a booklet. That was during the pre-general assembly. A few of us who were actually coordinating this particular training were part of the trainees as at then. We drafted around 5 document, and it was made into a booklet. Currently, that NiMSA policy document is under review, and we're hoping to actually add a few other policy documents after this training. That is where most of you come in. The policy document is a key part of the 2020-25 agenda. I'll talk about the 2025 agenda as we proceed. Today, we're not just going to look at this policy document, but we're going to actually break it down, and hopefully we can learn one or two about the policy. So I actually put in a link to one of the policy documents here. Just see if you can click the link to the document and see if, okay, this is perfect. All right. And please feel free to stop me at any point in time if you have any questions. So this is an example of a policy document from NiMSA. I probably have 5 of it. All right. There's a policy document on rural and primary healthcare. It starts with an introduction. Then we'll move down to the NiMSA position. Then there's the call to action. The call to action would involve calling stakeholders that are related to the National Association or related to Nigeria. And
please, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen, Joshua. Push down, go down. Scroll down, let's see. Okay. So basically, the call to action involves calling to action stakeholders that are actually related to NiMSA and to Nigeria that actually act on the particular medical issue, or if it's a medical education issue or a global health issue. Then we have the position paper. The position paper is usually around 2 to 4 pages long, depending on what you're actually discussing. It contains the background of the issue and also some discussion surrounding that particular issue. It comes along with its own references. So basically, it's still the same standard of IFMSA, just a few differences. For us here, we simply try to keep it as summarized as possible and related directly to the National Association. So it's not really so broad like IFMSAs, because we have limited stakeholders that we are associated with and limited stakeholders that we can actually reach out to and advocate to. Just let's go back to the slides. We are hoping to, the next slide, please. We're hoping to actually solidify our policy document writing capacity today, because the next, go back, Josh, go to the previous slide. Because the next line of action will be each and every one of us drafting a policy document for the National Association. There are simply 2 parts, the policy statement and the position paper. The policy statement would comprises of the introduction, as I showed you, the NiMSA position, which gives our stance or our view or what we want to actually advocate for regarding that issue. It's mostly a medical education issue, a global health issue. Then there is a call to action. And then we have the position paper, which gives the background information and discussion surrounding that issue, then references also, because we want to back each and every one of our claims and statements. Basically all of the things that are involved in the policy statement. The call to actions would involve stakeholder analysis, which is something that we've actually covered. I believe that was Rainier who actually covered that extensively. So you would just need to get a stakeholder analysis done, and then you draft out what you want to change or what you want to advocate for using these stakeholders, depending on the level of power or influence that they actually have. And you state down the NiMSA position regarding that particular issue. A lot of times, getting the NiMSA position should not just be done randomly. Sometimes we sort of needs assessment. I don't think I'll be talking about needs assessment here today, but it's something that maybe in further sessions or maybe personalized sessions with the group, we might talk about doing a needs assessment. Basically, needs assessment just involves gathering feedbacks from as many people as possible that are related to the association. The stakeholders, direct stakeholders, the students, and also external stakeholders. We use that to formulate our stance. We look at the current situation and we look at how we can make it better. And that is how we formulate our NiMSA position. The introduction is basically just a brief background of what the health issue is or the medical education issue is. We want to try as much as possible to look at the position paper because we feel most of us already know how to draft the policy statement part. The only challenge might be the position paper. Given the background information is not really so difficult, it's basically an introduction with a whole lot of facts and references from different points of view. The discussions are gotten from the policy topic. It's broken down into different aspects that actually relate directly to the national body. Joshua is supposed to actually give us a little more breakdown on this. I don't know if, Josh, would you be willing to break it down a little bit more?
Yeah, that won't be a problem.
Okay. Now let's do that. Let's do that.
Okay, I think just be true with everything so that I won't take so much time because I have other things that I need to do.
Okay. It is very important that each and everything that we do in the position paper comes with the references. These references are actually very, very important because we want each and every one of our statements and our facts to be correct. The next slide, please. Joshua, the next slide, please. So we've basically gone through the uses of policy documents. Each and every single one of our facilitators or trainers that actually came to this training have touched one way or another on the use of policy documents. I had to add this here to sort of like boost it a little bit, especially in terms of how it relates to us as medical students and as Nigerian medical students, as members of the Nigerian Medical Students Association. Aside the fact that we are going to be using the policy document for our advocacy and external affairs efforts, we're going to be using it for also setting together our internal affairs. When we are able to develop the technical skills to a certain extent, we realize that the utility goes beyond just advocating. We could use policy documents to set straight the affairs of the committee. And when there are issues surrounding committee and their functions and their activities, policy documents can also be used as a guide to actually direct the activities. Credibility in terms of the 2025 agenda. NiMSA is looking at developing and growing beyond what it currently is today. We're looking at situations where we can form MOUs and partnerships with national organizations and national stakeholders. And we have the opportunity to advocate for our cause in their meetings, their conferences, whatever capacity that they are able to give us the opportunity to do so. Now, we need credibility to do that. When you want to advocate for things, the best way to actually do for it is not just randomly, it's using policy documents. Because you are not just advocating for yourself. When you go to advocate for these things, you are advocating for the whole medical students. And when you're able to present the policy documents, which is the statement of thousands of medical students from Nigeria, you realize that you get more credibility, and it helps us to actually initiate these collaborations a lot more. CV. One of the plans for this particular year for the policy documents, we wanted to really boost the utility of the policy documents this year. We wanted a situation where we are publishing these policy documents on the NiMSA website. There's a NiMSA website that's currently being worked on. We're publishing it in a particular section, and we have the links to actually access them. So whatever policy documents you eventually work on, you can easily add it to your CV or your resume at the end of this particular training. This is not something that has been seen in everywhere, but it's something that we're bringing up in NiMSA SCOPI this year. Also, opportunities. I started with the training in 2020 with Ola in Kafak already. Today, I have participated and I'm a member of 2 international organizations that actually work on policies. I'm hoping that at the end of this training, most of us will be able to have such opportunities. Currently, I'm a member of the small working groups for the neglected tropical disease with the International Federation of Medical Students, which will be presented in the August meeting in Turkey this year. And we're hoping that a whole lot of us can utilize these opportunities to be able to apply for most of those things. The problem with getting opportunities, not just in Nigeria now, but in Africa as a whole, is the fact that most of us around here, we don't really have that much experience or exposure to policies, the drafting process, implementation process, and how they actually come about. So eventually, when we see these opportunities, we don't know how to approach them, we don't know how to apply for them. We are hoping that the set of trainees that will go on to complete this training would not just have the capacity to apply for these opportunities, but the capacity to actually function in different specific roles, both nationally and globally. Next slide, please. Joshua, the next slide, please. So I did mention something about the policy documents being a key instrument for the 2025 agenda. Someone would ask me, what is the 2025 agenda? So 2025 agenda is actually an initiative that was formed by a few medical students from Nigeria, from NiMSA, who had seen the amazing opportunities that external affairs brings. External affairs, not just globally, but even external affairs within the national body, especially within the national body. We realize that most of our advocacy strategies compared to external partners and external NMOs was absolutely nothing and very, very less effective. So the 2025 agenda calls for more external affairs function. It calls for more voices of youth in terms of advocating for global health issues, medical education issues, and most especially national issues. It calls for equipping us with the capacity and the potential to actually do this. And it calls the government to include national youths within their delegations. How do we intend to actually do this? The first step was to sort of create this massive publicity about policies, about external affairs, about advocacy. There's something that we started in 2020, and it's a process that we feel that we've gotten to a certain point in 2022. Most people now have at least the knowledge of policies and just how massive that it can actually affect the functions and the roles that medical students can play. The second step was to initiate trainings to equip medical students with the capacity to actually function, to harness these potentials, to create advocacy strategies. The third step would be to do a sort of stakeholder mapping and stakeholder analysis using NiMSA and its committees. We are using a framework that was set by the International Federation, where they actually partner up with international and global organizations to advocate for global health issues and medical education issues. For us here in NiMSA, we'll be doing a stakeholder mapping of the national associations and also external organizations. And we will be forming MOUs with them, pushing for national delegations that would actually participate in these events and advocate for the medical students' rights from NiMSA Nigeria. This is the future and the vision that we're looking at in 2025. And it is very, very possible to actually attain it. Currently, we have just one member from NiMSA Nigeria attending the WHA, the World Health Assembly, though I believe it has been completed just recently it was completed. We had just one member from NiMSA Nigeria. We want to scale up such potential. There are other countries that have up to 5 people as part of the delegations. We are looking at possibilities of NiMSA being part of these delegations to external events, using internal events as also training models for them also. These are part of the 2025 agenda. In summary, the 2025 agenda wants to give medical students and possibly by expansion, healthcare students across Nigeria the capacity to actually make actual changes with key strategies, effective and efficient strategies. Now, the 2025 agenda is also part of the policy documents that we'll be working on. This will be specially worked on by the SCOPI National Executive Committee because we want a standard function. And we're looking at pushing for what's it called? Initiating it officially close to the General Assembly. The policy document itself will be adopted in the General Assembly in December this year. So we're looking at either doing it together with the General Assembly or before the General Assembly. But before then, there will be a complete draft detailing the vision, the goal, the objective, and the strategy for implementation, which is very, very important. We're looking at a really, really bright and amazing future, an innovative future for NiMSA Nigeria. Joshua, what happened to my slides? So basically, that's it for me, and that's it about the policy documents. I believe the next slide was supposed to talk about the plans moving forward. Joshua, my slides. So whenever Joshua is able to put this up. Anyway, so we basically have 296 trainees that moved forward with the training, the second phase of the training. We have, we're working on 25 to 30 policy topics that will be shared out to the trainees. Different aspect of it will be shared out to trainees because we don't want to overload them with so much work, but we want everybody to get, to be a part of this, to contribute to drafting these policy documents. The teams for drafting the policy documents are divided into the SWD members and the SWD coordinators. Some of the coordinators might be external partners, like the technical officers from NiMSA Nigeria, who have a very broad and specific ideas about these particular policy topics. Some coordinators will be also from the National Executive Council. Most of the topics that we're picking out, 25 to 30, they are under each of the standing committees from NiMSA Nigeria. Every single committee is well represented, and we got those particular topics from heads of each and every one of these committees. So we are hoping to have a full and complete distribution by Sunday. We're expecting the final submission on Wednesday next week, where we'll distribute each and every one of it to your documents. That's for people who have actually moved on to the next stage. It's not basically for everyone, but people who have moved on to the next stage. We're looking at the space of June to July to get this draft, and we can actually work on it. There are 2 things that will be done with the policy documents. We would create a booklet for it, and this time around, we're going beyond that to actually publish them on the National Association's website that's coming up. So in essence, in conclusion, it's going to be a busy June for everybody. Personally, I had to cut short a lot of my activities, so just so we can actually achieve the objective set out for this training. Be prepared for a very interesting one. Be prepared for a very, very exciting June and July. I'm excited. I don't know if any other person is excited, but I'm very, very excited for not just what we're going to achieve now, but for what we're going to actually achieve in the future. It's going to be a completely different enterprise. That is why when we initiated this event, we were really looking forward to reaching out to young NiMSites. We're looking forward to reaching out to preclinical students, so that when they get these technical skills and we are able to sort of, permit me to use the word, indoctrinate them into the policy drive and the policy vibe, they are able to carry on with this and achieve the future that we all seek. I don't know if Joshua is ready to break down the policy.
Yeah, I'm ready. Please, can you all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes.
So please, sorry for the cut. My laptop went off. That was the reason. So I'll be using my phone to do everything from now. So just Nigeria. So, and I just hope that I am not so fast while explaining this. So I will be explaining more on the writing aspect and everything now. So, and I'll be sharing my screen now, and I'll still be using my other slide because I'll still be emphasizing on that one. So I'll be sharing my other slide. So I'll be sharing my screen now. So if you can see my screen, let me know. And if I'm going too fast, also let me know, because I usually have those issues that people usually complain about. So I don't want to have that issue today. So please, can you see my screen?
Yes,
Yes,
you
I
can
see
see.
your screen.
Okay, so I just hope that it is quite nice and you can. So now I've discussed on important things for writing a call to action. I know all of us know that already. So I'll be discussing more on the other ones. I'm discussing more on the position, on the literature review part, because that's part of the position paper. So when we talk of literature review or literature survey, there is, okay, I will basically be talking on the standpoint of people that have not ever done any research work before. So when we talk of literature review, it's basically when you go and have a survey of papers. We usually call it literature review or literature surveys. You go and look for papers online and read about it concerning when you are doing a research. There are also articles that are usually called literature review articles, but those ones we have systematic review or review papers. Those ones are one of the tough and research work that people usually do. So, but in this standpoint, I'm talking of literature review. Literature review is when you go online, like all of us do literature reviews, for instance, and I want to do let me just use what we are all common about. Let's say tomorrow it's Tobacco Day. I'll go to, and most of you usually go to Wikipedia and go and search for what's tobacco, all these things, all those content writers and the rest. You go and write a lot of things, introduction, signs and symptoms, all those stuff, and write it down and bring what you just did, going online and checking for relevant articles. It's what we call literature review, if you get my point. So now when you are going to write your position paper, let's say they give you a topic on universal health coverage, what you do is that you go online and search for papers on universal health coverage. And when you are writing a policy document, the first resources you usually go, it's like very, very, very important resources. All those WHO resources and UN resources. If you get, or maybe UNICEF and all those stuff, you already know them. You already know all those big names. So when you see a writing on them or something, you just copy their website. You just check the article and maybe you copy their website for references sake and all those stuff. But please don't go to Wikipedia and be searching for universal health coverage. I'll still show you the stuff, but please don't go on Wikipedia and be searching for universal health coverage and be referencing it for me. That's off. Like, that's totally off, because it's not a trusted resource. Like, it's not a trusted resources. So if best one, go to WHO website and UN websites. Now, and I'll still go back to paraphrasing. Oh, sorry about this. I don't know how to go back. I'm using my phone. So wait. Okay, I think it's here. Okay, let me continue. So, for literature review, that's for literature review. You search for relevant literature as it was stated here. You search for literature, for relevant literature. You evaluate resources. That was what I was saying. It's not every place. Evaluate your sources. Not everywhere you go and check it. Identify themes, debates, and gaps in the topic. Like when we say universal health coverage, when you see an article, check the themes under that article. That was what he was talking about, discussion, where you pick some relevant topics and discuss it. Maybe universal health coverage and SDGs, or one of these two things. Then you discuss them. So these are the themes, relevant themes. So that relevant themes are your discussion, if you get me. That's what people are talking about concerning that topic. So you make sure that you have those key points, those key themes in your own discussion. Then you should outline your structure. Let's say I'm in a group, me and Martins, I'll bring out a structure of how my discussion will be. My discussion, somebody's taking universal health coverage and maybe and SDGs, universal health coverage, and just, I don't want to give anything here, just like that, maybe different teams, I'll share it across and say everyone should. This is how the structure of our paper is going to be. So when somebody go and do his own research and bring in the sources, then we can just like write something on it, then we can just come and update it. Then you write your literature review. Writing your literature review, that's where we work on all those and referencing and paraphrasing and all those stuff. I also discussed that. Now, to make a comprehensive document, and consider reading journals, WHO reports, documents, and different resources. But don't go on Wikipedia. I saw some documents that they were submitted to me. Someone was writing on Wikipedia, went from Wikipedia, even brought abstract. I was like, wow, abstract, and even methodology of a research paper. I was so shocked. I don't know whether that happens. I asked for a call to action, Sha. I didn't ask for that. So, and please, for position paper, nobody should write for me an abstract or anything like that. I didn't ask for an abstract. There's already a template of how FMSA structure their own, and Martins already discussed that. Please, that's the way you are going to do it. Then, now, there is, some of you may have never done any research work, so you may not know of Skyhub, Google Scholar, and PubMed, but I'll still show you them. Thank God I'm even using my phone, so those that are having phones will know how I usually do it. Then I will discuss this also. Then now, important tips of when you are writing a position paper, please check for your spelling and grammar.
policy document is a very important document. There is no room for making mistakes. You can't, like, it's just like you go and be advocating for someone and you're talking about something that you don't do. It's actually crazy. They won't even take you serious. So please ensure that there are no spelling, grammars, and all those stuff. Spelling and grammar, please. Don't go and writing is off or something funny like that. Then also your spelling should also take note of that. Then paraphrase to avoid plagiarism. I will show you how to do the paraphrase. I know all of you. Okay, let me just try it here. Like now, if I want to like copy this, I don't want to use the word copy. Plagiarism is the representation of another author's language, thought, ideas, or expressions as one's own original work. Plagiarism is considered a violation of academic integrity and a breach of journalistic ethics. It's basically a bad thing to do. You can't go and submit for me an article and I will see that it's highly plagiarized. The least plagiarism that you can have is 20% when you're using paperpass.net. This is it. You can also use qtext.com to check for plagiarism. That's after you have finished writing your documents. You go to their website and like paste it there. Then they'll run it for you and they'll show you a level of plagiarism there. So you will know that this is highly plagiarized or not. So you can use paperpass.net or qtext.com. This slide, you already have it. You just go and search it and use it. Therefore, plagiarism, please. Like now, I want to copy this. Oh, sorry. Like now, Like now, I want to copy this place that was written and maybe paraphrasing is presenting ideas and information in your own words. I can say, in instances where your own words are presented ideas in your own words, and maybe I would say instances where your own words are presented while acknowledging the sources is called paraphrasing. You see, I paraphrase this sentence. I didn't copy it word by word. Just go to Wikipedia. I'll keep on using Wikipedia because that's what most of us do. You go to Wikipedia and you just hit your mouse and copy everything out and come and paste it on the document. That's very bad. When you include it in a plagiarism checker, you are going to see a very, very, very high figure. Like, oh my God, you see that it's 90% plagiarized or 100% plagiarized. So please, take note of anything you are picking, make sure you paraphrase it. Don't copy word by word, paraphrase it. Just turn it in your own words, in which way that even nobody sees it, you will not even know whether you copy it. And after paraphrasing, there is citation style. That I'll still show you citation style. I just hope that all of you are getting note of that. So we use Vancouver referencing style. That's the style we usually use, Vancouver referencing style. And I'll show you Vancouver referencing style. You don't need to learn it. If you want to learn, you can learn. Just go on PubMed and it will present it for you on your own. But if you like, please learn it also. It's also good. So okay, I think now we can just go and start doing practical now. I think I've been talking so much. So please just be watching my screen. Like now, let's say I just hope all of you are seeing my screen and my voice is clear. Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So let's say they say we should write on universal health coverage. What I usually go is that I go to WHO website. Maybe I'll say WHO universal health coverage, WHO universal health coverage. Or I just type universal health coverage and you see this one and European Union. This one is you can use this source to gain some information about universal health coverage. You can also use the WHO website to get more about universal health coverage. But please don't go on Wikipedia. You see World Bank, you can also use this but don't go on Wikipedia and be searching for universal health coverage document. So now I can go to let me say now I'm going to the WHO website. I will read on universal health coverage and I get a background information about what universal health coverage is. They can be telling you about universal health coverage, a lot of things. This is what we call literature review. You are trying to have an idea about what is currently the issue concerning universal health. Go to fact sheet. What is actually why is it not clicking? Maybe my network is slow. you can go and check for what are they currently talking about concerning universal health coverage. You read about this stuff, and when you read about them, then you can start. And when you are reading it, you'll be taking note of some points. Like if you see that this point is very relevant, then you like carry your book and write down these points and make sure that you reference it. Like don't forget on referencing, because if you write a point, make sure that you copy the website. Like for me now, let me show you what I usually do. Like now I see Parliament chooses to shine a bright light, and I saw the thing is nice for me. Then I'll go to my notebook. Then I'll paraphrase it in my notebook. Where is it? Then I'll paraphrase it. Maybe Parliament, blah, 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 blah. Parliament does this, does that. Like if I take note of that, then I'll copy the website. Like I'll open a bracket and put this website, so that when I come to do my referencing, I'll know that this is where I picked it from. Then I'll come and copy the web. Then I'll go back and paste it here, so that tomorrow when I'm writing down, like doing the main draft, main writing, because this is just like you're taking note of points, because you have to understand the idea before you can start writing. You can't just go and be writing from anywhere. You have to understand it well before you start writing. So like now I've gotten the point. So now if I want to include this in my major drafts, maybe they gave me a universal health coverage and SDGs, and I got a point that is relating universal health coverage and SDGs, I'll write it down, and I'll also write the where I got it from, so that tomorrow I'll not forget when I'm writing it down. Like writing the main stuff. This is just the points. I'm just writing down the points that I want to write down. Then now, this is for websites. Then now, when I want to gain from, let's say, PubMed, and PubMed is basically a database where you find articles about medical articles, because you are hearing the name PubMed. So that's where you get a lot of articles about medical stuff. It's just like a library. I don't want to use library word. Just search PubMed like this. Google will show you what you are looking for. See it here, PubMed. So you go to PubMed, then you go and search for. There's what we call systematic review. The systematic review is an article that consists of that covers a wide gap, I won't say a wide gap, but it's a very hard document to write on. It's like now, if they say write a systematic review on universal health coverage, I'm going to look for articles on maybe 50 articles of universal health coverage for the past 10 years and review all of them and find a common ground and write an article form. So when you want to know something about universal health coverage, it's best that you get the review first, the review of that article first, because that will give you a wide idea about it. But if you just go and search for universal health coverage, you may see a lot of topics related to universal health coverage, but you won't have a wide background of what universal health coverage is. So it's most important you use a review. So you can search universal health coverage, universal health coverage review like this. Then it will show you a lot of articles that are actually systematic review about universal health coverage. You can, if you see the name here, you can see review. Lancet is a very, very, very important journal. They are very I forgot the word, please. All this research, I forgot the word. Then maybe somebody can remind me later. So Lancet is a very renowned journal. So this article is in Lancet. I can say it's a very good article, and you see it's a free article. So you can just go and open this document and read about universal health coverage. So please don't get scared. It's actually something simple, because it's position paper. It's not something you just go and do in 1 day or something like that. So you go to full text link. It's on Elsevier. You open it. I think it will take you to where the document is. So it might download on your phone. I don't know whether this will download on my phone. So I don't know why my network is kind of slow. So you go here and you find the document. Good. See, this is it. So you can go through it. Doesn't mean you should read it word by word. Please just read the abstract. That's what we call abstract. It's just like a summary of the entire document. So if If the beginning looks interesting to you, continue reading. But if it's boring, please, it's not by force. Just stop it. What I do is I usually download the PDF format. So I'll just download the PDF format and read. It is more like just go up here and download the PDF format. It is more, I enjoy it more than reading documents on. So I'll download it on my phone and open it, because that one will kind of be like a structured document, so you can see the abstracts clearly, but here you may not see the abstract clearly. So does this one has an abstract? I don't think. It's just a normal document, just like that, just a normal review. So you like go through it, and if it is nice, if it's not nice, just cut it out. You see, it's relating universal air coverage with 2013 SDG. So just have an idea about it and take notes of some major important points and everything. So then you write it down. That was why there is work sharing. It's not one person that will write everything under the team. It will share it across. Somebody will take universal air coverage and SDG. Somebody will take related to this global, something will take related to this and that. So that you won't have a lot of work doing on your own. Your own will just be focusing on this aspect. So you can just write maybe a 200 words on that. Another person will write 200 words, because position paper have no page limit. It's only policy statements that has 2-page limit maximum. But position paper is just, it can do 100 pages. Please don't do 100 pages for us. It's work. So just ensure that it's just good. Just make sure that it's good. Then now, let's say I got a point from this document and I want to reference this document. What I need to do is I need to go back to where I got the document. I got the document from PubMed, right? And this is where the document is. You see site, universal air coverage and public health. You see site here. So you click site and you can see format here. Then there's APA style. There is APA style, there's MBA style. It's usually APA style I usually use. Then I pick APA style. Then I'll copy this. This is a reference. So I'll copy it like this. Then maybe I got a point concerning about universal air coverage. They say universal air coverage is related to SDGs, is related to blah, 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 like that. Then after I paraphrase, don't go and copy and paste. Then I'll come and paraphrase a point here. Universal air coverage does this and that. It's related to this. It talks about this. It does this. It does this. Then everything I got here, I know I got it from that particular article. Then I will like put a point here. Then I will like paste it inside. You know, I copied the stuff now. So I'll paste it inside this bracket. Why is it wasting my time? I'll paste it here. So now, this is like a reference so that tomorrow I won't actually forget it. So now, and this is basically everything. When you go to Google Scholar also, this is PubMed. So when I want to like get an article from Google Scholar, I don't go to Google directly. This is PubMed. Then you go to Google Scholar. I just hope that this information is not too much for you. That's why people are advocating for research in medical education, so that we're all supposed to know these things. So it's not Google you search. See it here, Google Scholar. Let me not use the word website. So you go to Google Scholar. You can see how the Google Scholar is. You write Google Scholar. Then you can type for universal health coverage. Universal, where is it? Universal health coverage, yeah. Review also if you want. But let me just type it. You see a lot of documents, like a lot of articles. Then let's say I want this, I'll come and pick this. Then this is just like an intro. I think this is the abstract, right? So just read the abstract here. It's just short. If you don't enjoy it, please just close it. Go to another one. They have thousands of documents here. If you are not enjoying it, we'll close it. So, and you see, this one is also from Lancet. It's very, very recommended. Then you like read it. And if it's nice, good, you pick it. If it's not nice, forget about it. So when you get a point like from it, you can download a PDF and like read it also. You click here, you get the PDF. Then you get it, then you use it. Then if you get a point, you also do that same way. You go and write the point, paraphrase. But here, when you want to cite, you see this place that has arrow. This is where you click it. Where is it? When you click, you see now that here it's showing that cited by 675 articles. This is even showing that this article is very recommended. not recommended. Some articles can be cited and they are actually bad documents, like bad articles. They are citing them in instances where it's bad, in a bad situation. Please, people can use it as a bad example. So please don't get it confused. So you can click here, then there is site here, then you click site, then you see Harvard Vancouver. Just use Vancouver style. Then you copy it. Then you copy it and just copy it. Now, concerning the references part, just have this, just copy this. Like now, if I copy it, I don't know why my hand is slow. Just copy. I don't know why this is. I think it's my hand. Then you copy it. You still do the same thing. Go to your notebook and do all those blah 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 blah. Then you are true. Let's say you are true now. Then you come and write blah 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 blah, and you also cite it. Like this. This is I don't know why I'm wasting my time on this, but this is what all of us supposed to do. Then I'll write paste like this here. Then that's all. Now I've given a reference. So now when I'm writing my main draft, like they gave me SDGs in my own group, and I brought out like almost 20 points or 10 points. And I want to bring these 10 points together to explain how universal health coverage is related to SDGs. So I may close this, then I'll like read everything and have the idea. Then I'll open another new document. I usually write this down, please. That's how I take it more serious, please. I write it down. You can type it, but I write it. So I'll write down the points, I write down everything, I read it on my own and see that it makes sense or not. This is like you're bidding yourself. You are not actually helping anybody. So please, if you like, write it down and read it to yourself. Is it making sense to this topic? And we are writing a policy document for NiMSA. It's not for your own self, or you want to pass a test or something like that. This is something that we use to represent you outside, external affairs and the rest. So you have to like put in your mind to do it. It's not a cut and pieces. That's why we take serious people. So if you can write it down, write the points down and let it make sense. So when you write it down and it makes sense, I'll still use this page, but I'll take it down, so that I'll hide this. So now I've written down everything that makes sense. So now if I pick this point here, this one that has blah, 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 and it's a point here, then I'll write blah, 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 blah here. Then I'll use numbers this time around, not this writing, this referencing website. I won't use it. I'll use one, right? Then I'll use one here. Oh, sorry. I'll come here and I'll use one. Where is the one? Put one here. Then there is a section called referencing. References. It's just like a short form of this one. I don't want to write the entire text there, so I'll write one there. So I'll come down here and tell them that one is actually this. It's actually this website. So I'll copy the website like this, and I'll cut it like this. Then I'll come and put it in references and paste it like this here. Yeah. So this is my actually one. So one is here, but this is where it is referenced. So this is what we call in-text citations. This one that it says in-text citations, that's the one that is there. So I hope I'm now clear. So that's how you keep on writing another point. Continue writing. Maybe you say SDGs does blah, 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 blah. You write again. SDGs does this, you write again. Then you still need to, like if you know that this thing I'm talking about, I got it from this site or from this article, then I'll come and put one. We all know this now. I don't know why I'm wasting my time on this. So you put like 2 or 3 here, then you keep on going like that. You keep on. That's how you have a IFMSA policy document that has all those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on them. That's how they actually do it. Please, have I stopped sharing my screen, right?
Yes, you have.
Okay, so let me continue then. So now let me go to IFMSA policy document, and before we close, I don't want to be wasting your time. I hope this is clear. It's quite okay. Skyhub.se. Now, I didn't talk about Skyhub. I talk about Google Scholar. Now, Skyhub is where you get an article that requires you to pay money to open it. So I won't say pay money to open it. So you go to skyhub.se. My own is already there. So you go to skyhub.se. Then SCOPI is basically to present for you an article that has already been that you can't access it. There's what we call free access articles, and articles are not free access. So those ones that you need to pay for. Immediately you click on article and you want to see it, they'll tell you that you need to pay for it. So I think this is the wrong website. Sorry. So like now, let me go to PubMed. I know for sure I'm going to see an article. I don't want to be wasting time on all this stuff. Please, can you all see my screen?
Yes, I can. It just went off.
No, not anymore.
Okay, sorry about that. So I would like to share it again. So
We can see
okay.
your screen now.
Okay, you can see it, right? So now let me go to PubMed. Where is the PubMed? Oh my God. Sorry about that, please. So like when you go to that, they usually say that they are not free access. Like you need to pay a particular amount to open them, or let me say you need to pay actually. Let me just use that word. You need to pay to be able to access them. You usually go to skyhub.se, and when you go to skyhub.se, you copy the DOI number of the article that you can't open it. Let me repeat my word, DOI. You copy the DOI number, and when you copy the DOI number, you go to skyhub.se and paste it. Immediately you paste it, it's going to download it directly to your phone, like directly to your phone. That article that you're unable to access, it will like come back to your phone. Let's say I go to, this is not the skyhub.se. So when I go to universal health coverage, I just hope I get an article that is not universal health. Let me just use universal health. Then I go to an article universal health. This is free. All these ones are free. I think this is not free. Yeah. This might not, this is not free. So wow, it's looking like it's free. So when I go to the website and it's showing me that I need to, wow, it's free. So if it's showing me that I need to like pay to access it, see this number here, this one that has www.http, this number here, that's what to actually copy and you paste it in Skyhub. Like I'll copy it now, copy link text, then I'll go to Skyhub, like Skyhub. Sorry, that first website is free. Let me go to Skyhub. This is not Skyhub. Yeah, this is it. Skyhub.hk visa something something. So when I go to Skyhub, then I'll paste it here. Enter URL code. I'll paste it here. It will download the document directly to my phone, or it might just show me. So you can see I can save it on my phone, like save on my phone. Then I think it will download on my phone. I don't know whether I can download it. But that's just it, Sha. It's not something, if you show me download, then I'll download it on my phone and I can open it. You can see it. So I can open it and I will just read it. So that's everything, Sha, basically. So is there any questions?
I wanted to, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I wanted to ask, you mentioned something about Science Direct. So, is there a way we can access documents directly on that Science Direct, or must we have do we have to download it as a PDF before we can access such documents? Like you showed a part where you like documents having www.sciencedirect.com. I want to know if there's a way we can access it directly, or we have to just go through PDF format. Thank you.
No, you don't need to. Science Direct is a website where the article is located. So you can use Science Direct. So you can use Science Direct to access the article, the copy of the article. You can use Science Direct to access it. But that doesn't mean that you can't get the PDF. What I was saying is that I like using PDF format. That was the reason why I usually download PDF.
I like using them. But if you don't want them, you can just enter Science Direct and it will show you the main article. You can just scroll and read everything completely.
All right, thank you.
Can I just add a few things quickly? Joshua, can I just add a few things quickly?
Okay, you can add, you can go ahead.
Some people are still talking about attendance. Please, this is very, very important. This is very, very important. I can't believe Joshua just went through like the basics of research right now. A lot of people might not understand just how vital what he just did right now is, but probably you would get to learn it later on as you keep drafting. Policy writing is just basically research, especially the policy statement or the position paper. It's basically just research. And it is very, very important that we know these things to the fullest, because we cannot draft a policy document that is showing 80%, 90% legalized work. We would not accept it. That would be like a whole lot of work to the SWG coordinator, because he would have to start redrafting and putting everything in order. And if every member of the SWG is doing basically the same thing and not getting it right, it becomes very, very problematic for someone who is, I'm saying it because I'm supposed to be in charge of coordinating around 20 to 20 something policy documents. And I know how crazy it can actually be. One of the good things about our policy documents is that we don't really require such a bogus work. It can always be broken down to just little summary that relates directly to NiMSA and the country as a whole. So please, whatever you do not understand, you can ask now so that we can break it down. Tips to make things quite easier for you. First thing you have to do is when you have a topic, try as much as possible to read up on it. Download 5 to 10 research work on that particular topic and try and digest it and try understand it. Don't just go and start copying things and rephrasing them without understanding what exactly it is. They tell you to write about the Global Action Plan for NTDs 2030. And you're just getting a bunch of research work and you're copying them and you're rephrasing them and putting them together. You don't know what the 2030 plan is. You don't know the basis. You don't know that there was initially one for 2021 before they enacted another for 2030 because you did not read up on it. So the first thing first, always make sure that you have read up and you understand the basics of the topic itself. That we're not going to be giving a whole lot of work to a whole lot of people. Well, we understand that a lot of people here are not really that, they're not so solid when it comes to research. And this will serve as a training ground and a first basic step for every single person in that particular category. Those who can take up more work will be given more work because there's a whole lot of things to be done. So first thing first, read up on the policy topic from the relevant research journals, not just randomly, as Joshua has said before, please. So when you do that, you're able to pick out the relevant papers that you want to actually reference. Second tip, ensure equitable distribution. I would not be, initially I wanted to take my time and do the breakdown, get the discussion topics and all of that, but I would not be doing this anymore. From our meeting last night, realized that a lot of you are actually that good and that sound to do most of this. And so we will not be spoon feeding everyone. We will make sure that you could do as much work as you possibly can, so that next time when any single one of you wants to initiate a policy document beyond even the NMO, you're able to do this perfectly fine. So we are going to allow you break down these topics yourselves. I'll send examples of policy documents that we have worked on to the group chats, to respective group chats. We would also initiate more step-down sessions in your respective committees to really look at these things very well, because we want you to actually grab them and to be able to do them on your own. Ensure equitable distribution. I'm telling you from experience, the moment you start drafting for 1 point, one subheading, 2 subheading, the 3rd subheading, you're feeling exhausted because you're doing other things while you're drafting, and it can be really, really taxing. Imagine you're downloading 5 to 10, reading 5 to 10, papers on one topic or one subtopic, and you're reading 5 to 10 papers on another subtopic, 5 to 10, but that's a whole lot. So if you're giving someone 5 subtopics and you're giving another person 2 subtopics, that's not equality. That's not fair. So whoever it is, because we're hoping that some of the trainees can be SWG coordinators also, those who have experience and those who we feel are capable of leading this particular role. They should be able to ensure equitable distribution. Thirdly, one thing that might really help you is using Google Docs. Definitely, you can use any other app or software to draft out documents, but the easiest one is always Google Docs. I wish I can share my screen with you and show you what I mean by that when you're doing your referencing. There's an option for notes. Does anyone know how to use notes on Google Docs, how to insert notes? When in case you put in your number 1, you can insert notes. Why don't you show that? Or do people know how to use this, or can you figure it out?
Okay, Martins, thank you so much for that. And I would like to add something. Please, you must not use Vancouver style reference. Just use Vancouver reference style, whether you cannot use it well or not. Just be able to give me the numbers and also give a reference at the end. Whether it's APA or MAA, you just copy it from the website. It doesn't mean that you need to do it on your own. It's already presented on Google Scholar and PubMed, this stuff. So it's not something that you will need to do it on your own. You just copy and paste. So Vancouver referencing style is not something difficult. Even today you can do it. So it's not hard. And I've already showed you how to copy and paste now. Just go and click site and you just go and click site. You see APA or Vancouver, you just copy it, then you come and paste it in your own document. Then I'm seeing also some hands raised, but I would like to add something also. These things are not something so difficult that all of us cannot do. It's something very simple. And one of my mentors said that research is read and search. So you understand what you are doing first before you even start writing. Just know that when I'm writing on universal health coverage, I quite understand what exactly I'm talking about, so that I have a whole idea of what universal health coverage and SDGs is all about before I even start writing about, so that I understand first before I even start writing. If you have not understand, keep on adding point, and point. Just keep on taking notes of points. If you see that you are beginning to understand it, then you can now start making some compilation and make your final draft. And I'm saying final draft doesn't mean the complete document. I'm talking about the part that was allocated to you. So your final draft of universal health coverage and SDGs that was given to you is your draft that I was talking about before your main SWG coordinator will include it. Concerning Google Docs, I use Google Docs for almost everything that I do, almost everything. But I know for starters, it might be quite difficult. You don't quite understand it. So please, you can also use your phones and your normal WPS or your normal documents or your normal Microsoft Word on your laptop or anything to do it. Even your phone. I use my phone sometimes to do all these things. It doesn't mean necessarily need to do, but if you can use Google Docs, also use it. But if you can also use your phone, use it also.
So let me show them an example just quickly. Let me just see if I can share my screen and show an example. Let me see.
Okay then. I assume okay. Okay, continue.
Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, we can see your
screen. Yeah, we can.
When we start up, we would have something like this. I'm coming. The easiest way to draft this, just so that you don't go stressing yourself so much, because when you copy and paste your, what's it called? your references in a very scattered format, you are not able to actually draft those things. You just make yourself to become entangled. I'm coming. Now, this is an IFMSA policy document. We're currently working on it. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
First thing first, you break down what you want to write about to all the subheadings that are actually needed. All of that. The first part for the policy statements, for us here, we have just introduction, NiMSA position and the call to action. You do your stakeholder analysis. Then you list out the stakeholders one by one. You come down to the next part of the paper, which is your position paper. You have a background information and you have your discussions. Now, each of these subheadings should just be listed out in a Google Docs because it is so easy to use and it's so easily accessible. And whoever is breaking down the discussions, maybe this coordinator or the members, they can suggest, you can all suggest what you want to discuss under it, as many as you want. Please don't make it so bogus. There are headings, and then you share out these parts. So that's what you do. You get those headings, and you share it out equitably between everyone. Now, for the part, for the references part, so let's say I have, this is Google Doc now. Anybody can download Google Doc. Let's say I have this as a write-up, and this is my first reference. Reference 1. There's an option here, the plus option. There's a comment here. Click on the comment. It highlights it. Can go to your reference now. You would have to bear with me. You go to your reference, you copy your reference, and you add here. So this is reference number 1. You see how easy this is? Done. So eventually, when the SWG coordinator, who is supposed to put everything together, comes to your documents, he clicks here, and she views the comments. Can you see how easy it is? So eventually, she rearranges everything. Because I don't want you clustering up. Let's just do it again. I don't want you clustering up your, to an extent where you cannot manage it. 2.
Salam. Kali wanda yake.
Done. You see how easy it is? So, it is just basically the application. Basically, the application of everything that we have been saying.
Sorry.
Have a template with the headings and subheadings that you need. After discussing it and doing your stakeholder analysis, share out these topics and subtopics between yourself, and each person can draft and add to the Google Docs, which is easily editable. Eventually, the SWG coordinator would compile all of it. It's so easy. You can do this in like 2 weeks if you're very experienced with it. So please, whatever questions you have, we'll answer everything. Please just ask as many questions as you want.
Justina, I saw your hands raised. Please, can you unmute them?
Me? Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for the training so far. My question is in the aspect of after the introduction under the policy statement, and then we want to have the NIMSA position. How do we know what NIMSA's position is on certain topics to really refer to IFMSA's position? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question. And IFMSA position is basically based on what their belief system is. Like now, if I say I believe on universal health coverage, it's usually based on their bylaws, but they don't usually like copy directly from their bylaws. Already, because they say policies are easy reactive or something like that. So there's currently an issue concerning universal health coverage. So you as a person, you and your group writing the policy document, when you know that this is your actual position, what are you like standing for currently concerning that issue? What do you agree on concerning that issue? Let's say universal health coverage, then you say you as an organization, you agree that every person in Nigeria or something like that is expected to just that you have support the motion, but you write it in a very more detailed way. If you get my point, you won't just write that I support this, but you give it in a more detailed way. Please, am I able to answer this question?
Okay, I think so. Basically, all the topics I will be giving, NIMSA accepts that position, so we'll just build up on that to support him.
Yeah, exactly.
That is one of the places also where the working tool of a needs assessment come in. There's something called the baseline assessment when you go further into activity planning and implementation. That's something in SCOPI. The baseline assessment is mostly used for picking a particular topic or for implementation. And these assessments can be used to get people's opinion regarding a particular topic. Now, this is what is that word? This is the most acceptable way to actually get a group of people's stance. You understand? You do a needs assessment. How do you initiate a needs assessment? Basically, the easiest way to get a Google form. There's qualitative and quantitative view. Quantitative view just require you getting a Google form, put in certain questions that relate to that particular topic to get people's opinion and views of that particular topic. Now, you could either send this out to the general public or you target the specific committee that works on that particular topic. You can walk through the committee director, you can walk through the technical officer that if there's a technical officer that relates to it, and they would send this out to that committee. And you pick out the stance of the National Association, which is the stance and the view of the members of the National Association from the reply and responses that you're able to get. You analyze it and you pick out the NiMSA statement. That is if it is becoming very, what's it called? It's very difficult for you to get a particular stance for the National Association. There are also other ways to do it. What happens is that in more sophisticated systems, like IFMSA, they have their directors and they have their licensed officers for particular issues. There's a licensed officer for rights and peace. There's a licensed officer for public health issues. Now I use SCOPI because I function more in SCOPI. The licensed officer for public health issues, Muhammad Issa, attends basically all the functions that relate to public health. You understand? And it is his task to do needs assessment based on his findings from these conferences that relate on that particular issues and based on the association's voice. A lot of times you don't get a whole lot of response, but a lot of times people who respond are people who can give you the answers that you actually need. That is one thing you should know. So what we do when we work on these documents is we consult both the director and the licensed officer to public health or the VPE. Now, most especially the licensed officer to public health, because he knows so much about these particular issues. You get? Because he knows so much about this particular issue. So he's able to provide feedback to us as to what the members actually need and as to what is actually going on in the world regarding these particular issues. To the SWG, they are always heading every SWG, the licensed officer to public health or the licensed officer that relates to that particular issue or the national director. So for us now, implementing that in NiMSA Nigeria, we are not so big like IFMSA. We can initiate a needs assessment. A simple Google form, asking people the questions that we get response that we use to develop their stance. It doesn't have to be everybody that will answer. Give a specific time that you need people to answer. Put it here, let them see it, to respond to it. When you respond to it, you gather the feedback, you work on it as a group, and you develop NiMSA stance. If that is too complicated for you, you can always relate to, if you feel that the national director has enough knowledge about that issue, because that is his work. You talk to the national director about it and also the technical officer that relates to it. And you're able to also apply what Joshua said and draft out the NiMSA stance towards it. So that's basically the strategy. I hope it is clear. For whoever asked that question, is it clear?
Yes, it is.
Thank you very much.
The next person I'm seeing, wait, let me check. Bele Kainde. Bele Kainde, yeah.
It's Bella Kende, and I wanted to ask if all the things Joshua explained is in the slide.
Sorry, it's not the slide, but you can actually watch the recording. And also, me and Matthew
I don't
will
understand.
still go.
I've never done research. A lot of what you said was confusing and went over my head. If you're telling me to watch the video, that means I have to watch the video like 15 times. Every single time I'm doing the policy thing with my team. So can you
Okay,
just
don't worry.
arrange the steps like in a slide so that and at any point when I'm confused, I'll be like, okay, this is not that you do the policy document for us, but just the steps, the way you explained it, but write it down.
Okay, then I'll work on that. And also, I'll still visit your groups also. Me and Matt is also discuss, but I'll also make a document for showing you all the steps. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Stephen Adeole.
Thank you. My question is that what is the standard number of words that is suggested for every section? Do you suggest number of words per section, or you just give the total number of words that you want for the entire document? And if there is, what is the standard number of words, so that we'll not go and be expressing ourselves, writing more than what we actually need to write? Thanks.
Okay, if we are talking of A4 paper, for policy statement, we are only talking about 2 pages only, 2 pages, maximum of 2 pages. But position paper can range to, I don't know, there's no limit. I don't know the limit of that. But policy statement, 2 pages, strictly 2 pages.
All right, thanks.
Page limit is what we basically use, but no one is expecting anyone to write maybe one subheading. You just come and write one line. You pick out one line and you just put it there. No, nobody's expecting that. You should be able to read things and be able to pick out meaning in relation to the topic or subtopic that is given to you. If a topic or subtopic has not made meaning, if what you're writing about a topic or subtopic has not made meaning, then most likely you have not really done justice to it. You should be able to know. And if you submit something like that to an SWG coordinator, they will go through it and still pass down to us, and we would have to send it back to you to redraft it. There are people who draft 6 to 7 lines, and it's making a lot of sense as regards a particular topic or subtopic. And there are some subtopics or some topics or subtopics that you have to write as much as 15 lines all the way down, just to make more sense. It is also accepted as far as you do not go beyond the number of pages for that particular part that you're writing. There's no really a word limit when it comes to these policies. You just have to make sure that whatever it is you are saying is relevant.
Okay, I would like to add this again. There is no referencing or no in-text citations for policy statements. Don't write an introduction and be putting a column or putting one or giving references. No. There is no references there. It's basically from your head. You are going to bring it out. So there is no. It's not. I would say basically from your head, but what the right standard way is that you have made so much research writing your position paper. So policy statement is a walkover. The reason why you are finding so much difficulty in your own time was because you have not done adequate, you have not written a position paper. When you write a position paper, when you are writing your policy statement, you feel that it's just totally a walkover because it's like you have gone through everything and you already know what every stakeholder is supposed to do. So it will require to be very simple for you. So please, it's only in your position paper that has citations. And also for your background, please give an overview of what actually is the current issue concerning that particular topic for the background discussions and everything.
I'm so concerned about the position statement today because we know that most of you would completely ace your policy statement. We've done this, we've gone through stakeholder analysis. I saw some beautiful works. You will do very well in that, except maybe you have not been attending the sessions that we've been organizing. Today, we just want to break down the rest of it that you have to write up. I understand that some people might not get everything. Nobody does when these things are done. I remember when I did my first training on needs assessment and stakeholder analysis, I basically failed the IFMSA work, but it was later on those things started making sense. When you practicalize it, it gets better. Sometimes you just need people to just assist you to start up and the rest of it becomes easy. This is a very, very beautiful initiative. I want everybody to put their effort, especially people that have never done research before, technical students that have never been into research before. That was how I started with a policy document because it was so small and something I could manage. When you do research and they break down parts for you, they give you something so complex, it becomes so difficult for you to do. But when it comes to policies, it's just the nitty-bitty gritty of these things. I promise you, there are a whole lot of more complex things in research. So when we practicalize it, we'll come down to each and every one of your subgroups. We'll try and practicalize these things bit by bit. I'll try and show you how to make sense out of some topics. And then you are able to actually do this by yourself. You will see how easy that it is. You get what I'm saying? Okay. Please, any other question? You can always ask. We would answer. We want to answer as much as we can today before we end the sessions and still come back and continue because we know how important it is. We want a situation where everybody here can easily just the document. And we are comfortable sending you out to go and do policy SWG in any place at all, and you will not embarrass the NMO because it is currently happening.
Okay, thank you so much, Martins. And I would like to add, please be serious in what you are doing. You are writing for NiMSA. Please just put in your best. Don't do something that you rush to. Understand what you are writing first before you can start writing. Take your time and do it and follow the template and everything. For those that don't understand, we still explain it to them, either personally or we are still going to every group. I'll still try my best and come to all your groups and also explain it, but also try and do that. Then if there's any need for you to also contact us, I'll still explain it to you. But this thing is very simple. When I started, it was also difficult for me, but with time it became more simple. So it's not something so difficult like that. It's something very simple. You actually get it. So I've sent a link for the attendance in the group and I've opened it now. You can use it to sign in before we close. I'll still send it again to the group for you to.
Please, it's not the attendance that is so important. There are people who will join these small working groups without attending any of the sessions, but they can perform. You understand? So it's not really the attendance. We want you to be able to learn these things. We want you to be able to grasp these things. Because when you start drafting now, you start encountering problems. And the problems that you're encountering are things that we're trying to sort of like set a straight path for them so that you don't have these issues. But anyways, I know a lot of things will still have to come up when you eventually start drafting the policy documents themselves. So I think we'll just give some time for any other question, and maybe we can close for the day.
As always, practice makes perfect. You won't learn policy by just hearing the theory. You must start. Just start first. You understand what is going on. Just start writing something you actually understand. You can't just watch a video and just start it that way. No, you have to start it. Carry your pen, carry your paper, and start writing. That's when you understand what actually you're doing. So if there's more questions you can ask, I've still shared the link to the group. You can fill the link for your attendance for today also.
Yeah, please, are we signing in or out?
We are signing out because we are.
It's not still working.
Yeah, it's still not.
Wow.
So please give them the attendance.
Sorry about that. It's now open. You can access it now. I did like open it. Sorry about that. So I'm still sending it again. Please fill in the attendance. Please, something is telling me that a lot of people didn't understand. So I don't want to assume, but please, if you quite understand something, I would like you to maybe raise up your, like just put on a scale of 0 to 10, how was today? Like from 0 to 10, how could you rate your understanding of what you actually do? From 0 to 10, please, you can put in your answers in the chat so that we can see it.
Please, are we signing in or out?
We are signing out. For those that network dealt with them, they can watch on YouTube and they can also watch the recording. Anyone.
I was talking about practicing. So if you feel that you have time to practice, I think the National Director for Publicity, National PRO, contacted me recently to do a stakeholder analysis for him for publicity content, and I'm so choked up. So if there's someone who wants to practice their stakeholder analysis, try and get in contact with me. I think we just need just 5 people that can work on that, and maybe I can just give you guys a starter to practice what you have learned before you implement it in the policy document. So reach out to me through your group head or coordinator. They will send my number or something. Apart from that, my number will be on the group chat.
Yes, and someone was saying with your new grouping, yes, you can send with your new grouping. Some people are saying 9, some people are saying 5, some are saying 2, some are saying 0.
What? Some are saying 0?
No, I'm just joking, but I know some people that have not typed that say 0.
Okay, no problem. It will get better anyways. Once we start doing it gets better.
Don't worry, when you get to do it, you quite enjoy it. Another thing is that this will actually build your capacity. Like if you write on universal health coverage, a policy on that, you have a wide idea about it. So that when they are discussing it sometime, like I've already written a policy document on this and that. So it won't be a big burden to me again. Like let me say HPV vaccination. For I think last year we worked on a policy. It was basic on reproductive health, but I was given a team on HPV vaccination. So like I did a lot of work on that. So I got a lot of idea about it. So it will kind of stick to your head. You might forget some of the things, but there are a lot of things that you may not still forget. So it's quite good for you to engage in all these kind of activities.
Yes. Go ahead with your question, please, Ola.
Thank you very much, sir. The link to the people that passed the phase 1 stage, I learned that there will be a new grouping, but the one I saw, I was still in my former group. Is it that
there was no new grouping because some people are saying there's new grouping, but I did not see any new group that I was
Ola,
placed.
your group, how many are you in your group currently?
Yeah, three active
There was,
members.
there was most likely no need for a new grouping. New grouping
All
was
right.
most for people who were the only ones active in their
All right.
group. So they have to add them to other ones, you understand?
All right.
Because we understand that most of you had already formed a synergy and bonding in your respective groups. We would not want to scatter that. It will only be
Okay.
people who respective groups.
All
are
right,
not
sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we saw no need of adding any group. That was the reason of like reshuffling you. So someone was saying I'm too fast. God, I don't know when I'll stop doing this. I actually don't like taking a lot of time for people. Maybe I like rushing things, but I will try and adjust next time so that I won't be fast. The reason why I was talking earlier that please let me know when I'm going so fast because people usually complain about that. So I'll try and adjust. I'll try my best and adjust. So next time when I'm talking, please just tell me I'm so fast, so I will stop. So thank you all for coming. So I think there's no any other question today. So I've sent a link. I'll be closing it by 3:45. In the next 1 minute, I'll be closing it now. I hope all of you are through with the form.
Take your time before you apply it. If you send, we're going to publish this. So if you send a policy document that is not up to standard, it will be sent back for review, and some will not be accepted. That is why we're making these things, we're taking these things as far as we possibly can in terms of the teaching and the trainings, so that a lot of efforts are not in vain. You have to really put in that effort in these documents, and it has to be shown.
Please, I would like to say again, if you don't like your group, let me know. We'll take, please, if you have reshuffled and you have built bonds with your group members before and you don't want it to be affected again, please let us know about it. Please let us know about it. Memuna, you can go ahead. I saw you raise a hand.
Thank you so much for the session. So for some of us that have network issues, in fact, it is really hard for me to cope. So I don't know how are we going to get the recording.
We'll share the recording to your respective groups and also on Telegram. You can also find it on YouTube. The YouTube link is already there. So you just go and drag it back and start watching from the beginning.
Will it be a video recording or document?
It stated that I will send a document of how to like do the literature review and also the referencing stuff, like step-by-step process. And also, so I'm going to send a recording of this session, and you can also access the YouTube video also. Some people are not comfortable with YouTube videos.
Thank you. Even that stakeholder analysis too is really giving me issues. Hopefully, if I watch it, I should get it. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I see another hand raised. Ola Duwu Si Mercy.
Oh my God, you just murdered my name.
Sorry.
Ola down, see, Mercy. Okay, I just wanted to ask about the topic. Are they going? Is it after this session you're going to be giving the topic for the policy document, or you guys have already told us what the policy document is all about?
Oh, that's for me to take. The policy documents are currently still, I think, in between this session, the SCOPI director sent me a chat about some topics. So they are still being compiled. We want to make sure that we're able to actually get the feedback from everyone that needs to contribute. So by Sunday, everything will be done, including the arrangements, and we'll share. Just as how we share you guys into groups and subgroups, we'll also share the policy topics to all of you, depending on how many and how many people we need to work on it. So that's just basically it. You don't have to worry about that. Just especially between next week, take your time, practice and learn. And between from now to then, we'll still be coming to your groups for 1 or 2 explanation and props.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
So I think there is no any question. So I'll be closing the form now. I have gotten 127 responses so far. So I'll be closing it now. So we have come to the end of today's session. And so we have come to the end of today's session. Please be reminded that I'll be having games tomorrow. We'll be having games tomorrow by 5 p.m. Please, if you can attend, please attend to me on Telegram. Our games are very exciting. Like, oh my God. Those that attended can testify. Please try and attend. We'll still share the announcement to your respective groups also. Who haven't signed in? Oh my God. Gladys. Is it Gladys or Gladys? Please, I'll reopen it for 2 minutes. That's by 3:50. Please, I'll be closing the form. So please, Gladys, please fill the form. So by 3:50, I'll be closing it again. So everyone should try and do it. So thank you all for coming to this day session. I hope it was very enlightening. So good day, everyone. It's not evening. So good
Thank
day,
you.
everyone.